Walked all over him.
Yeah, it looks like they walked all over the coach as well.
No, that was his own team. Since Steve-O's gave him such a thrashing, the blue light has turned on him.
No, I just slipped, that's all. The razor.
Dragged down like hungry jackals on a decrepit old lion.
Sounds more like warfare than basketball. It's a pity I missed it.
Yeah, me too.
It was a sight to behold. The newly formed St Steve-O's humbling the mighty blue lighters.
That's the lucky break, that's all it was.
Rubbish! You even had young Jed Russell playing for you. You still got done like a dinner.
Bloody mental.
Hey, boss. That was Gavin at the cemetery. Looks like somebody else has been doing a bit of demolishing.
Unbelievable. Look at it.
It's disgusting. You got any idea who did it?
I wish I did, mate. I wish I did. I mean, what sort of idiot thinks that's funny? I don't know how we're going to get those headstones clean.
Adam?
Boss's wife.
Kind of a sick mind. I want these characters caught, PJ. I mean, why would anybody...
This is terrible, Tom. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Cooper, keep those people back behind the tape. They're tramping all over a crime scene.
Back behind the fence. I'm sorry, you can't come in here. Can you just move back behind the... I'm sorry, sir, you can't come in here.
But my parents' grave is in that section.
Sir, this is a crime scene. We need to seal it off for investigation.
I insist on seeing whether my parents' grave has been desecrated.
Can you move back behind the
And
fence?
you let that lady through.
Look, if you show me where it is, I'll take you there.
Thank you.
Oh, Tom, not now.
We'll get it cleaned up. Don't worry about that. We'll get some volunteers on the
Not
job.
until crime scene have been over the place with a fine-tooth comb. I don't want anything touched till then, understood? Nothing. No fingerprints, no empty spray cans, nothing.
Nothing at all, I'm sorry.
All right. Has anybody got any ideas?
Yeah, kids. Nothing was kids. The graffiti, it's not exactly mature.
No, it was
Pure
obscene.
God almighty.
It was obscene.
All right, the point is, what kids?
Well, maybe it was just some lout slayerising and it got out of hand.
Maybe it's Count Dracula.
Is that what those teeth marks on the side of your neck
I
are?
don't happen to find that very amusing.
Sorry, boss.
Tom, got a minute?
Yes, Father, what is it?
Perhaps in private?
Is it about the vandalism?
Well, yes.
Then let's all hear it.
Okay. Now, you do realise that it was only the Catholic section of the cemetery that was attacked, don't you?
I was aware of that, yes.
Well, look, it's just a thought. No, I don't want to stir up any trouble, but the basketball match last night. I know that the Blue Lighters were a little disgruntled that St Stephen's thrashed them.
Hey, what are you saying? That's a lot of crap, mate. That fat bugger should mind his own business.
Nick, this is very much his business.
Well, he shouldn't be throwing around false accusations.
Yeah, look, I know, mate, but he might have a point.
The only point Friar Tuck's got's the one on top of his head. There's no way those kids were in the cemetery last night.
What, you swear to that?
On a pile of Bibles, they were with me.
You?
Yeah, I took them off to Ralph's for a consolation
Ralph's?
pizza.
What do you have there for?
It's cheap.
Fair enough. Okay, so they're all with you?
Yep, all of them.
Huh?
Except Jed Russell.
Are you saying that just because Jed doesn't like pizza, that means he's out vandalising cemeteries?
No. I'm just saying that given the circumstances, he's someone that should be eliminated from our inquiries.
Thank you, I can do without the jargon. Look, Jed isn't even into graffiti. This is mad. That business at the railway yards proves that he's a good kid.
Yeah, all right. I just reckon we should have a chat with him.
Boss, maybe you should talk to him. After all, you are his legacy guardian.
What's this, extra training?
Well, you need it after last night, don't you?
We'll blow him away next time.
Yeah. Can we have a word, please, Jed?
This official?
Just a chat.
Sure.
You boys want to go in a bit more mongrel. That's why St Stephen's beat you.
Better if the coach knew what game it was.
So, you don't like pizza?
Not much.
What did you do last night instead?
Went home.
Straight away?
No, took a walk first. What is all this?
Somebody vandalised the Catholic section of the cemetery last night. They spray-painted the tombstone.
Wasn't me.
I'm not saying it was. We're just checking what everyone was doing, that's all.
And I'm top of the list.
Only because you weren't with the others.
Great.
Give us a look at your hands. What's that?
Just paint?
It's spray paint.
So? It's been there for days. Ask Mum.
We will, don't worry. All right, son. Off you go.
He's hiding something.
You don't know that.
Yeah, you know he's not. What about the paint in his hands?
He makes model trains. He's always working one.
He's hiding something. You thought he was
He's withdrawn, Nick. I think that's understandable, isn't it? He lost his father recently.
That's right. Your old mate, Jim Russell, is dead.
Watch it. Why aren't you two out helping find the real culprit?
Adam and Dash are door knocking the cemetery area now.
Good. Why don't you go and help them?
You get the impression that young Jed Russell's a bit of a no-go area, don't you, mate?
Yeah.
Any news on the vandals yet?
No, dead end at the moment, if you'll pardon the expression.
I've been asked to pass on some information to you.
Well, all contributions gratefully received, Chris.
I got this from a certain young lady. You'll have to remain anonymous.
All right, go on.
Last night, about 1 o'clock in the morning, she was at the cemetery with a friend.
Raylene Brimson and Devon Bleakley.
You don't have to draw a picture, Chris. Go on.
And, well, they were having a chat, and
Right, yeah, sure.
suddenly this kid appeared out of nowhere and stumbled over
Was it
them.
one of those horizontal chats, Chris?
Did they get a look at the kid?
No, it all happened too quickly, and he took off like a startled rabbit, but that's what they noticed. He could really move, like the wind, she said. Got any help?
Might be.
Well, it'd probably help if we could talk to this woman or a friend.
Sorry, Peach, if the husband found out, you know.
Lots of kids can run fast.
Not like the wind. Sounds like Jed Russell to me.
Hearsay. There's nothing in it. How are you, Father? You like to join us?
Oh, no, thanks, Tom. Your name's still Brian.
Yes.
Hey, I just had a thought about our case.
Oh, really? You know who did it?
Not yet, but you know how they say the murderer always returns to the scene of the crime?
Yes.
Well, maybe they'll come back. Maybe we should mount an undercover operation tonight.
Look, I'm not sure.
Or maybe we could dress up as corpses or ghosts or something.
Yeah, I think lovers might be more appropriate. I understand the cemetery has that reputation.
Lovers. Now, where could we find a pair of lovers to mount?
Maggie and PJ. It's a CI matter.
I don't think so.
Well, Father, you could do it.
As a lover, I don't think I'm allowed.
No, I didn't mean you'd do it.
Never mind. How about you just buy a ticket in the St Stephen's Restoration Fund raffle? First prize, a week in St David's.
What's the second prize?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, beautiful.
Hello? Father? The station? What are you doing there? What's all this about a citizen's arrest?
Well, you better take that up with Brian.
Well,
I was at the cemetery
He was doing a bit of undercover.
by myself, and I heard this noise.
noise.
Yeah, it was Gavin's backhoe abandoned in the middle of the graves. The engine was still warm. Then I saw this figure hiding behind one of the tombstones, so I shouted out. He started to run, tripped, went flying. I don't think I would have caught him otherwise.
Who?
No, he's in the interview room.
So what were you doing there, Jed?
Nothing.
Then why did you run from Father Brian?
I didn't know who it was.
All right, but you must have been there for some reason at this time of the night.
Looking for clues?
Clues?
Yeah. Prove it wasn't me.
Nobody says it was.
You didn't have to.
What sort of clues did you expect to find?
I know.
What about the backhoe?
What about it?
What are you doing with it?
Nothing. Someone was driving it when I got there.
Who?
I don't know. It's too dark.
What happened then?
I called out. He jumped down, then ran off. I went after him, but he got away.
He ran faster than you.
He had a bike.
And then Father Brian arrived.
That's right.
I see.
You don't believe me, do you?
I want to, Jen.
Just wait outside for me. I want a word with Sergeant Croydon. Don't be too hard on him, Tom. He's still in shock after his father's
I
death.
know.
He is finishing a new model carriage.
Using blue spray paint.
He uses it all the
He
time.
could have just told us, you know.
He's hurt. He thinks you don't trust him.
You better get home and get some sleep. I'll be in touch.
It's all right.
Okay?
Yep, all fixed.
You better get over and relieve Father Brian. Thank him for securing the scene.
We solved the case for us.
Oh, boys, brought you a bit of brekkie.
Oh, that's very nice of you.
Quiet on the Western Front, is it?
No, not exactly.
Any more graffiti? Ghosts? Ghouls? The living dead?
No, a bit more serious than that. Over here. Here you go.
Is this what they use the backhoe for?
What about the coffin? Oh, it's still there, mate.
And the corpse?
Well, we thought we'd leave that to CI.
Oh, thanks very much,
That's
Nick.
okay.
So this is Alice James and George James, her dearly beloved brother.
Yeah, the backhoe didn't seem to want to have a go at him, just her.
Well, you going to have a look or what?
Well, any other volunteers?
No.
Thanks very much.
Down your hop, mate.
Lovely.
That's all right. Want a hand? Oh! Jeez, agile. Joe, what do you got?
Well, the lid's been tampered with.
Go on, give a knock, see if Alice is at home.
Yeah,
will
well,
you?
it's all right for you, Nick, standing up there eating your sack.
Come on, is she down there or what?
What do you got?
Oh, I wonder if this Alice James is deformed in any way.
Come again?
Because her hand is missing.
Her hand? Why?
Black magic? Maybe Jed's in a coven. He wouldn't need a broomstick the way he can run.
Don't be stupid, Cooper, and let me point out that Jed Russell is innocent until he's proven guilty.
Yeah, but he's got to be considered at least a suspect, eh? I mean, maybe he took the hand as a dead.
Why would he go to all that trouble?
Oh, it's like you said, isn't it? You know, kids. Why not?
Because he's not that sort of a kid, that's why. All right, let's try and find out who these Jameses are and get in touch with their relatives.
Boss, we thought that you might know that.
Strange as it may sound, Doyle, I am not Methuselah. I don't know every Catholic family in the area dating back to the year dot. Now get on with it.
Right, I'll handball that one to you, old son.
No, you won't. Sorry, sunshine. I'm off to bed. Says Adam. We've been up all night, mate. Graveyard shit from him.
Yep.
Excuse me, boss, can I have a word, please?
Well?
It's about Jed Russell. I think PJ's got a point.
Did he send you in here?
No, he didn't, boss. I just want you to look at the evidence. He doesn't have an alibi for the first night, and there's the paint.
He's explained
And
all
he
that.
was found there practically in the act on the second
He
night.
was not in the act, and the rest of it's purely circumstantial.
But more than enough to take it further. Boss, I'm sure you would if it was anybody else.
You be careful, Constable.
You're his legacy guardian. You made him join Nick's Blue
I
Riders.
didn't make him, I suggested it. Look, Doyle, I know the boy, and I know it wasn't him, but you saw Nell's grave. Do you really think he is capable of that sort of desecration, that obscenity? After all I've done for him, that was my wife's gravestone. What possible motive would he have?
Boss, kids are funny. You think you're helping them, and all the time they resent you for interfering in their lives.
Interfering?
Yes, perhaps that's the way that Jed sees it. I'm sorry, we're only trying to help you.
All right, Doyle, you win. Bring him in.
Crap!
Jed!
Then why doesn't he believe me?
I didn't say I don't.
Sure, it's all great as long as Jed's doing what he's told, being a good little boy. Yes, Sergeant Croydon. No, Sergeant Croydon. As soon as something goes wrong, it's third degree time.
So have you been a bad boy, Jed?
Look, I told you what happened. Just get off me back and find someone else to practice your do-good and on.
Get on to crime scene. I want everything re-examined. Any fresh graffiti, bicycle tracks, prints on the background controls, anything at all.
All right.
Did you find out anything about Alice James's relatives yet?
Well, Father Brian's checking the old parish records now. Apparently they're in a bit of a mess.
What isn't?
Boss,
Not now, Doyle.
Nothing from crime scene. Still reckon it's got to be Jed Russell.
Yeah, well, I think the boss does as well now. He just doesn't want to face up to it.
Yeah, well, it's not always easy, is it? See, the trouble with Jed is, I mean, what's his motive? OK, he messes up Nell's tombstone to get a Tom, but why the hell would he dig up Alice James's grave?
Or dare, like you said.
What, over 2 nights? Doesn't ring true.
Well, then why take the hand? And I'm certainly not going for the black magic option that Adam suggested.
If he did take it, why didn't he have it with him when Father Buggerlugs found him?
Maybe he just threw it away.
No, crime scene would have found it. You know which hand it was, don't you?
Yep, the left hand. The ring hand.
Yeah, so maybe it wasn't vandalism, maybe it was theft.
But why wouldn't you just take the rings? Why would you take the hand as well?
The panic, cover-up.
Well, we certainly don't know if there were any rings until we find out more about Alice James. So do you want to come see Father Brian with me and find out about the relatives?
Oh, no, not Buggerlugs. There's got to be a better option than him.
Alice James. Gee, the thing I remember about her is when I was a kid hiding under the table listening to my mum nattering to a CWA mate.
What about Alice James?
Yeah, I think so. At least I've always connected the two things together in my mind.
What two things?
Well, Alice James and the legend of the Scarlet Woman.
Oh, what, Scarlet Woman?
Well, there was a story of a local spinster who had a rich lover who showered her with jewellery, none of which was found after she died, so it was always assumed it had been buried with her.
And the spinster was Alice James?
Well, yeah, I think so. You know, I was only a kid.
Well, this legend, Chris, how well known is it?
Well, I wouldn't have thought it'd be common barroom gossip nowadays.
Yeah, okay, but who would know about it?
Well, Alice's family might.
Do you know who they are?
Well, yeah, I think so. There's Helen Bremer. She's a widow with a couple of kids, farm out near Widgery. But when I say family, I mean pretty distant family.
So that's all I know about her, what you see there. Quite a handsome woman, isn't she?
Yeah, she certainly was.
Saw you got of her?
Oh, yeah, afraid so. She died before I was born. Can you excuse me? Hey, Natalie, Shane! I'm going now! Look, sorry, is there anything else? I've really got to rush. I've got an appointment with the bank manager.
No, that's fine. Do you mind if we hang on to these?
Sure, whatever. Sorry I can't be of more help. Just didn't know much about Aunt Alice. Never even visited her grave, I'm ashamed to say.
Hey, got up to do last over there. Where we send you clean undies, Mum? Pentridge?
Okay, Natalie and Shane, this is Detective Hasham, Constable Doyle.
Where are you going?
Someone's been interfering with great Aunt Alice.
Who?
She's dead, you dork. Has this got something to do with the vandalising?
Yeah, that's right.
Probably the blue lighters. Really sore losers.
You know about that, do you, Shane? Oh, Shane plays for St. Stevo's. He thinks he's Michael Jordan.
Good on you. So you were there, mate?
Oh, we all were. It was a great game.
He needs all the support he can get.
So, how do I look?
You look $1 million, Mum.
You'll kill him.
You're great kids, eh?
Yeah, very lucky.
Helen, if you want to call Father Brian Hegarty, he might be able to give you a hand with some details for the reburial.
Is that my responsibility? I thought the cemetery would do that.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, least I can do, I guess. Make up for all those years I didn't visit her grave. Just hope it's not too expensive.
No, I don't think it will. They didn't touch the other grave.
The other grave?
Her brothers, George, James. Well, didn't you know they buried them together?
No, I didn't. Didn't know she had a brother. In fact, the one thing I do know about great Aunt Alice, well, she definitely didn't have a brother.
So who's buried there?
Who knows?
Could she be wrong? I mean, she doesn't seem to know much about this woman.
Well, she could be, but the inscription was pretty definite. Dearly beloved brother of Alice, died in 1959, 6 years after her.
Well, Brian Hegarty might be able to help you out. Why don't you check with him?
Look, can we just leave Father Brown out of this, please? Like, he's a bit too eager to play detective as it is.
Stepping on your toes, is he?
No, I just think all this talk about the brother is irrelevant. Look, let's concentrate on the case in hand, and the hand in this case being Alice James. Now, have a look at the photographs, right? She's got two hands very clearly there, laden down with very expensive jewellery.
All right. Have these blown up and circulated to all the local jewellers and the dealers' squad.
PJ, there's someone to see you.
Patrick,
Hey, Brian, how are
thought
you?
I should get this to you straight away.
Great. What's with the gloves, mate? The
Fingerprints.
washing up gloves. Oh, right.
Found it on the church doorstep. Someone's returned Alice's hand.
But not the rings.
Well, at least it shows us one thing.
Yeah? What's that?
Well, whoever the vandals are, they have a conscience of sorts.
Yeah, they didn't return the jewellery, did they?
If there was any jewellery.
By the way, Father, I would have appreciated the phone call, you know, before you brought the shoebox in.
Oh, I'm sorry, why?
To see it in situ, you know, to get some photographs. He might have contaminated important
I don't
evidence.
think so. I know the drill. I was extremely careful. That's why I wore the rubber gloves.
Yes, well, Father, I have to tell you, rubber gloves in the detective business isn't always the best
It's
thing
what
to
I'm
do.
willing to learn, Patrick. We seem to be becoming quite a team, don't we?
Do we?
Father Brian, do you know anything about a George James? He was Alice's brother.
Like what?
Burial details, that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, not offhand, of course, but I mean, I suppose I could look up the parish records.
Oh, look, that would be fantastic if you could.
Oh, you mean right now?
Yes, that'd be great, thanks.
See you, Patrick.
Fingerprint guy says there's nothing identifiable.
So all we're left with is the box itself.
Yep, just a plain old shoebox.
Are these trainers?
Hey?
Well, they're trainers, aren't they?
Jed Russell wears trainers. He's a runner.
He's also a basketballer, Maggie. Most of the basketballers wear this brand, as do half the kids in Mount Thomas.
Basketball high top, size 9.
There you go. What? So you reckon one of my blokes came back the second night and dug up the grave?
No, I'm just saying that it's a possibility.
Then you're basing this on a shoebox which could have been found anywhere, and you can't even prove any of them were the first night.
I'm just going to need you to check the shoe size.
Sorry.
Nick.
I'm not going to run around Mount Thomas poking around the smelly feet of pimply teenagers,
Hey,
mate.
Nick, look, mate, look, I'm just trying to do my job.
Yeah, well,
and
you do
know
your job
that.
by looking at one kid, and that's Jed Russell.
Yeah, well, he is sticking to his story like glue.
Well, he would, wouldn't he? He's got the boss wrapped around his little finger.
All right. Let's assume for the moment it's not Jed. Now, you took these kids out for pizza, right?
Yes. We've been through all this, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Except Jed. He was the only one who didn't come.
Okay, now, well, what time did you finish up at this pizza place?
10:30.
10:30. Right. And did you drive them home afterwards?
Yeah?
All of them?
Yeah, There was 3 kids I didn't drop off at their homes. I dropped them on the corner of Blake Street because I didn't want to reverse there because it's too narrow.
Yeah, all right, okay, Blake Street. Now, that'd be about half a k from the cemetery, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Righto, mate, you're going to need their names.
All right. But you're going to be looking at their feet, mate. Gareth Ingram, size 10.
Straight home, honest.
Craig Perry, size 7.
Didn't go near the cemetery.
Sam Greer, size 9 and a half.
I was in bed by
11, and that's the truth. Talk about butter wouldn't melt in their mouths.
Well, Nick seems to believe them.
Surprise, surprise. Look, it's like Tom and Jed Russell. My boys never.
What about Jed Russell?
Get this. It's a size 9.
Yeah, same as the shoebox. So what now?
Well, see if we get a result from the dealer squad about the presumed missing jewellery, I guess.
Can I make a suggestion? Bit of lateral thinking for you, Detective.
Okay.
The story that Chris told us about, the legend of the Scarlet Woman. Who do you think that Alice James's lover was?
I don't know. Does it matter?
It might. Legend has it that this lover showered her with jewellery.
Comfortable.
If it's true, his family's got good motive to want to get that jewellery
Now,
back.
why would the family want to dig up Alice James? Stinky Alice, who's been in the grave for 40 years.
Well, maybe they didn't need the money before now. Come on, it's as good as any motive that you've got.
Well, fortunately for you, I'm a very broad-minded sort of guy.
You got those photos from Helen Bremer's?
Aha, I do.
Now, you see this bloke? You see how he's looking at her?
Like he fancies her.
I'd say it was a bit more than that.
Would you? Would you, really?
Yeah. I'd be interested to know who he is.
I've got to know if this is any use. It's some oldies function set in the 50s. All the names are underneath, though. Look, there you go. Alice James. Gee, she must have been getting on a bit by then. She was still a fine-looking woman, though, wasn't she?
Chris, who's this?
Bloke giving her the eye. That's... Good God, that's Walter Starling.
Who's he?
It was Arthur's father. Arthur was the bloke who made Dash take him to his parents' grave yesterday morning.
Yeah, so?
So, what if Arthur Starling's father, Walter, was Alice's lover?
No, I don't think I know this. What's his name? Arthur Starling?
No, you wouldn't. He's a retired shopkeeper, confirmed bachelor. Pillar of St Stephen's. He thinks that coughing in church is a mortal sin.
But he doesn't mind a bit of grave robbing. Is that what you're saying?
PJ, he lives with his sister. They're both pensioners. Maybe they're a bit hard up.
Well, definitely ask him where he's hidden the jewels,
There's no need to be sarcastic.
Now, which one's mine? Personally? We've got a visitor. Thank you, Alfred.
Parish register as requested.
Look, Father, it wasn't necessary to come in, you know, you...
I asked him to.
Oh.
Yeah. Here's the information you asked for. George James, buried 4th of August 1959, funeral arrangements by Halliday and Brown.
All right, what about Walter Starling?
Walter Starling, why? Why Walter Starling?
Just check it.
All right, but I don't know if we're going to have a lot of luck.
Brian, try the same page.
Same page. You're right. Walter Starling, buried 3rd of August 1959, the day before. Also by Halliday and Brown. Now, how did you know that?
Lateral thinking.
You want to do what?
Get an exhumation order.
Let me get this straight. You want to dig up Walter Starling to prove that he's not there?
Yes.
And where is he?
I think that he's buried next to Alice James.
Why don't you just dig up there?
Well, we could do that too.
Yeah, hang on. I'm not having you exhuming bodies all over the cemetery. Explain it to me again.
We checked births, deaths and marriages, and Alice James never had a brother called George.
And Maggie thinks that Walter Starling was Alice's sugar daddy.
What?
Her lover.
Lover.
And it's only natural they want to be buried together.
It's very cosy, isn't it? Someone pops old Walter next to Alice.
No, so if Walter's not in there, it could be anyone or anything.
You're going to have to get the Starlings' permission before you dig up their family grave.
Righto.
I don't like your chances, though.
That's an outrageous suggestion. My father would never have dreamed of becoming involved with another woman, especially that harlot.
So you do know of an Alice James?
Oh, well, we've heard the rumours, so-called legend. Now, I can tell you here and now that the man involved was not our father. Our parents were an absolutely devoted couple. Never a cross word between them.
That's not strictly true, Arthur.
Oh, you've always had a down on Mother, just because she wouldn't let you do what you wanted to do all the time. This is nonsense. Our father was buried in the family plot in 1959, and our mother was laid to rest beside him in 1978. And that's an end to it.
Well, I'm afraid there's a bit more to it than that, Mr. Starling.
Huh?
You see, we have reason to believe that some expensive jewellery was stolen from Alice James's grave.
Stolen?
Now, were you aware of the existence of this jewellery, sir?
I've always assumed there was nothing but rumours, gossip.
And you, Miss Starling, do you know anything about it?
Nobody knew, not for sure.
Quite right.
You know a boy called Jed Russell?
No.
Were you in the cemetery last night?
Why on earth would I be?
Well, perhaps you were directing a boy in a back car who was trying to retrieve the jewellery that your father had given to Miss James.
This is outrageous.
Don't get excited, Arthur.
I am not excited. I will not be accused in my own home. My father was never involved with that wretched James woman. I know nothing about any jewellery. My father's remains will stay exactly where they are.
And where exactly would that be, sir? You see, if we're right, and your father is buried next to Miss James, then who's buried next to your mother? Now, wouldn't you like to settle this, once and for all?
Arthur.
All right. Do it.
So we have your permission.
Isn't this a bit silly, Arthur?
Keep out of this, Winifred. Go ahead. Do your exhumation.
Doyle? What's your theory?
Hang on, I'll go.
No, it's all right, I'll do it.
Well?
Papers. It's just newspapers.
It was a dying request, you see, Sergeant.
From your father?
That's right. He'd loved Alice all his life, and he wanted to be buried next to her, and I said I'd do everything I could to make it happen. And I did. I organised the whole thing.
Including the imaginary dead brother?
Yes.
But how?
Oh, I didn't do it alone, of course. I had, as you might say, inside help.
Not Halliday and Brown, the undertakers.
Oh, not the gentlemen themselves. No, Mr. Halliday had a nephew who used to work for them. He did most of the laying out, in fact, and this nephew and I were very close friends. Very close, if you see what I mean. I was always in and out of the funeral parlour. Our Manchester shop supplied all the satin for the coffins. Well, Peter Halliday helped me. We invented a brother from Melbourne and put Dad in his coffin and filled the other with newspapers. It wasn't as difficult as it sounds. The priest at the time, Father O'Rourke, was pretty ancient and no one was any the wiser. Wouldn't have been if it hadn't been for this vandalism.
Did Arthur know about any of this?
Not until this morning. No. The family always knew about Alice, of course, and the jewellery Father bought her, but it was never mentioned. The polite pretense of Father's love for Mother had to be preserved.
And Peter Halliday?
Peter went to England. I was going to go with him, but Mother and Arthur... Oh, I'm rather a weak woman, Sergeant, as you're probably aware.
I wouldn't say that, Miss Starling. I wouldn't say that at all.
Just through here, Miss Starling.
So you're not going to charge her then?
Not if I can help it. Yeah, there might be a case for false burial, but we need to check with the church.
Father Brian, Peter, I love that.
Yeah, watch it, mate. I'll give you the job.
What really interests me is that the Starlings knew about this legend of the
We
jewellery.
were just talking about that. PJ has this theory that Arthur may have employed some kid to dig up Alice's jewels for him.
Yeah, it could be Jed Russell.
PJ.
He was there.
Look, you don't have any proof that there was any jewellery.
We might have. Guess what just turned up in the church poor box?
I always give the box a hopeful shake before I pass it, and this time, bingo. So it looks like you were wrong, Patrick. Vandals do have a conscience.
I beg to differ, Father. I think we're dealing with two separate crimes here. I cannot believe that the lowlifes who did what they did to Nell's grave would be the same people who returned this jewellery, not to mention Alice's hand.
So you reckon that the grave robbers just took advantage of the vandalism?
Something like that.
Well, why would you steal it and then return it?
Answer that question, Patrick, and you have your robbers.
Yes, Brian, I had thought of that, OK? Thank you.
Anything I can do, Patrick?
Yes, Brian, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right, you two. Back out on the vandalism case. I want all the parents of the basketballers interviewed. Sorry, Nick, but it's the last lead we've got.
Does it include Jed Russell?
Yes, it does.
Good.
Boss, what exactly are we looking for?
Work it out for yourself, Cooper. Evidence of spray cans, paint, that sort of thing. Come on, get on with it.
Can it wait till after the lunches? Because I was just on my way to pick them
That's
up.
okay, Dash. PJ and I'll go and grab him.
OK, it's got to be someone who knew that the jewellery was there,
Well,
right?
somebody at least who was familiar with the story of the Scarlet Woman.
Lunches won't be long, guys.
Thanks,
Righto,
Chris.
Chris.
Oh, hello. They look a lot happier today.
Yeah, very cheery. Yeah, and someone who got the stuff was motivated to return it.
Bottle of champagne over here.
What would make you do that?
A guilty conscience? They got spooked.
What, after the event? Not unlikely.
Or maybe they found that they didn't need the money anymore.
Thanks, Lee.
Sorry, Mrs. Bremen. Sorry to bother you here, but I'm going to need you to come down to the station to help us with our inquiries.
What inquiries?
Well, it's concerning the grave robbery incident. Thanks. You just wait in here, Mrs. Bremer.
Are you actually accusing me?
Not going to keep you long. Thanks.
What's going on? You can't actually believe that Helen Bremer dug up her own arm.
No, not Helen Bremer.
Well, then what did you bring her in here for?
Here we go.
Can we speak to somebody, please?
Sure.
Mum knew nothing about it.
It was us. Mum was so worried. She pretended everything was okay, that we'd get another loan. But he heard her at night, crying.
Natalie.
We just wanted to do something to help. Anything. We knew how desperate she was.
Then we remembered the story about Great Aunt Alice, and we thought, wouldn't it be cool if the jewels really were there, and we could save the farm?
So we decided to go for it.
After you'd heard about the vandals the night before.
That gave us the idea, yeah.
You thought it'd be blamed on them.
Well, in a way, I don't know.
All right, so then what happened?
Well, we broke into the shed and took out the backhoe and dug the old lady up.
As easy as that.
The digging part was easy, but the coffin...
We almost didn't go through with it.
Why did you take the hand?
Oh, well, it was dark, and I thought the coffin lid was going to collapse and land on me. And, I saw the rings, but they were all mixed up with the finger bones. And I, didn't want to touch her. So I just grabbed the lot and got out of there.
We realised later that it looked like desecration. That's why we returned it.
Then what happened after you'd taken the jewellery?
We were taking the backhoe back to the shed, and then someone was coming.
And by then we were, like, really spooked. So we just took off on our bikes.
And that's about it. Except we put the jewels in the poor box as soon as we found out that Mum got a loan. I'm sorry, Mum.
I know you are, love. I know. Then you're not charging him with theft?
I think willful damage, unlawful use of a vehicle and unlawful exhumation are quite enough to be going on with. Fact is, I'm not sure about the jewellery. If Alice James died intestate, then it may well belong to the Bremer family.
Oh, thank you, Sergeant.
Don't. I'm not doing anybody any favours.
Well, thanks anyway. And if we do end up owning the jewellery, I'll make sure it gets reburied with her.
Eureka! One new spray paint can.
Where?
Under the bed of dear little Gareth Bozo Ingram.
Yeah, all right, it was me.
And Craig and Sam.
So who dobbed? Jed Russell?
Well, ask the questions if you don't mind, Gareth. Was Jed involved?
No, too chicken. We saw him after we left you. Asked him to come, but he wouldn't. It was him, wasn't it?
No, Gareth. It was just good police work. What I can't understand is why you would do something like that just because you lost a game of basketball to St Stephen's.
No, it wasn't like that. Well, not really.
And why only the Catholic graves?
No special reason. That's nearest to the road. It was just a bit of fun.
Fun? Fun? Have you got any idea how the relatives of the people that were buried there felt when they found out what you'd done? One of those graves, Bozo, the one with the obscene caricature of the woman on it, that was my wife's grave.
I'm sorry.
Sorry? God, sorry. How old are you, 16? Too young to have ever really lost anybody that you loved. She wasn't just my wife, she was the mother of my children, the woman I thought I would grow old with. She didn't even see her grandson before she died. The point is, all I've got left of her are my memories and that grave. This might seem really stupid to you, son, but I used to go there when I felt so bad I didn't know what to do with myself. I had some idea that her spirit was still there, see? And maybe it was, because after a while I would feel better and I would go home and I would get on with my life. So how do you think I felt when I found that obscenity, found out what you'd done to her grave?
I don't know.
I felt like she'd been taken from me all over again, but that this time her spirit had gone with her. That's how I felt. And all those other people you hurt, oh, I'm glad you had so much fun. Your mother is a woman just like my wife was. Now, one day she'll be dead. And when you miss her so much, I hope to God that nobody besmirches her memory for some stupid schoolboy prank.
I'm just really sorry, Sergeant Croy.
I hope you are. Now get out of here.
Boss, the boys have been charged.
Right.
You must be pleased.
Pleased?
Well, that Jed wasn't involved. You were right all along.
Thanks for reminding me, Doyle. Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to apologise. You were telling the truth.
I know.
Look, I wanted to believe you, Jed, but you've got to admit the evidence was mounting against you. What I can't understand is why you didn't just tell us who did it in the beginning. Yeah, I do understand about dobbing, but you didn't make it easy on yourself. What on earth were you doing there the second night?
I told you.
Looking for clues. Do you really think you would have found something we hadn't? All right, I believe you.
You expect me to trust you, but you don't trust me.
Jed,
Yeah?
Nothing. I'll see you around.
Yeah.
Doesn't really seem worth it, you know, I mean.
What?
Oh, the blue light gym. I mean, you're supposed to keep the kids out of trouble.
It's not the whole team, it's only a couple of individuals.
Yes.
Boys all set for the clean-up tomorrow, Nick?
Yes, Father Brian will be there.
Brian. Just about Walter Starling. Does he get to stay where he wanted to be, next to Alice?
Oh, not if Arthur has his way, I'm afraid. He intends to see that his father is reburied next to his mother. He feels very strongly about it. He's even threatened to sue Winifred if she tries to prevent it.
It's a pity. Are you getting romantic in your old age there, Maggie Doyle?
No, I'm not. I just think that it's a pity that two people who loved each other as much as Walter and Alice should be separated, that's all.
Mm.
Hey, Ingram. Is your dad happy he's got to pay for all the damage you've done? Eh?
Sorry I'm late. Had a few things to sort out at the Starlings. Arthur had a stroke. Died early this morning, I'm afraid. Perhaps Winifred's revelations were all too much for him.
Oh, it just means old Walter can stay where he's happy.
That's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Just go and get my overalls on.
Actually, I was visiting Dad's grave that second night. Yeah, to see if it was alright. Yeah, let me give you a hand.